So eventually finding some stillness on your back body, your hands can rest on your belly, knees bent, resting against one another, and just noticing where your lower back is in relationship to the mat. So finding a bit of movement through the pelvis, that anterior and posterior tilt. And as you go into that anterior tilt, you'll notice your lower back lifting. And then as you go more into a posterior tilt, you'll notice your lower back getting closer to the ground. And then see if you can find a position that is a bit more supportive for that lower back. So that slight tuck of the tailbone, that posterior tilt might get your lower back nice and supported on the ground. And then we're just going to breathe here. So once that back body is well grounded, we're going to bring attention to that inhale, allowing the belly to expand. And then attention to that exhale, allowing the belly to lower. And I'm finding that movement a couple more times, just concentrating, focusing on the movement at the belly, in the belly area. Again, as you breathe in, the belly expands, and then as you breathe out, the belly lowers, there's some contraction. And take a couple more just like that, focusing on the belly. And then use your next exhale to contract some through the belly, so the belly is drawing towards the spine. And then see if you can let your next inhale happen a bit more in the chest and the rib cage. So you might even have a little bit more pressure of the hands down, so you're not allowing the belly to go into that full expansion, so that then your expansion is concentrating more in the upper part of your torso. So see if you can feel that, taking a few cycles. And then notice that you might be able to find a bit more space in that rib cage and that chest. And that space might not only be the front of the body, but you might find that the side body gets a little bit more space too. Take another breath in. And another breath out. And then keeping your hands on your belly, keeping your knees bent and your feet wide, we're just going to start moving with those legs and those hips. So breathing in. And then just lower the knees towards the left. They don't have to go all the way, just part way is fine. And then breath in, bring them back through center, let them touch, and then take them over towards the right. And begin to explore this movement a few more times with your breath. And as you go back and forth, you might be able to take those knees a little further. They might release towards the ground a little bit more. And then your hands might slide from the belly to the side of your waist, on one side and the other. And the next time that you find your knees going towards the right, pause there. Maybe those knees reach to the ground or not, that's fine. And then see if you can lengthen your left arm out into a T. And then keep your right hand at your left waist and encourage the left waist to go a bit more towards the right side. Gaze maybe over those left fingers. Take a full breath in. And take a full breath out. And then bring yourself back through center, gaze and hands, knees come back up. Let them rest against one another. Your hands are back on your belly. And then let your knees go over towards the left side. Your hands will slide towards the right side of your waist. Let your knees drop towards the floor. And then your right hand comes out into a T. Your gaze over to the right. And then with your left hand, give a little pull to your right waist, as if you were trying to get it over towards the left side. Take a full breath in and take a full breath out. With your next inhale, bring those knees back through center. Bring your hands back through center, resting once again to your belly. And then notice where your lower back is once again, and see if you can find that tilt of the pelvis to get your lower back onto the mat or as close to the mat as is available. Deep breath in and long breath out. Now with your next inhale, feet come back to hip width. And then draw your right knee into your chest. Squeeze that right knee in and draw the right knee now towards your right armpit. Pausing here, breath in. And with your next exhale, extend your left leg all the way out onto your mat. Point through your toes and then flex through the toes. And you could do with both feet at the same time, or you could just do it with your left foot. We'll give some attention to the right in a moment. So just finding that ankle mobility, that stretch through the top of the foot, that flexion and stretch through the back of the ankle. One more breath in, point, and breath out and flex. And then from here, bend your left knee, draw it into your chest, and then extend your right leg all the way out onto the mat. Draw your left knee towards your left armpit, pausing there, pressing lower back into the mat, and then find that flexion and extension through your right ankle, pointing the toes, and then flexing and pointing and flexing, and one more time, point and flex. Bring both knees now into your chest, one hand on each knee, and just find some circles with those knees. See if you can find separate circles in one direction, and then we'll switch direction. Keep that back body on the mat as best you can, head resting on the ground. And then those knees are going to come back through center. Your right knee is going to stay in, and your left leg is going to extend towards the ceiling. Your hands could be around your right shin or behind your thigh. And then with your left leg extended, see if you can lower that left leg to hover over the mat. Keeping the leg extended, inhale and lift it. And again, bringing that knee, that ankle over the hip. And then exhale and lower, just hovering over the mat. Keep the lower back on the ground. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. And now on your exhale, hover that leg over the ground and draw the forehead towards that right knee. Keep that lower back pressing down. Shoulder blades are off the ground. Head is off the ground. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. Belly to spine. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, gently release the head back to the mat. Bring your left knee in, hug it in. Extend your right leg towards the ceiling. You could do this with your toes pointing, or you could also flex the foot, whatever feels best, but keep your right leg active. From here, we're going to lower and lift. So as you exhale, hover that right leg over the ground. As you inhale, keep it extended as you rise. And slow things down. Try not to use too much momentum, lowering on the exhale, pressing lower back into the mat, lifting, inhale. And again, at your own pace, using your breath, trying to keep the face relaxed. And then one more time, we're going to lift, inhale. And then on your exhale, hover that right leg over the mat and then draw the forehead towards that left knee. Once again, shoulders away from your ears, active through that right leg. Give a squeeze through the glute. Take a full inhale. Full exhale, belly to spine. One more breath in. And then on your exhale, gently releasing down. Both knees come into the chest and separate circles once again with those knees in one direction. And then switching direction. With your next inhale, knees through center, lift both legs towards the ceiling. Your hands maybe support the thighs, or maybe your hands are resting on your belly. From here, let's bring those legs wide. So flex the feet and then send those legs away from one another. Contract through the glutes, outer hips, press the lower back into the mat. Take a full breath in, push through the heels, and take a full breath out. From here, reach your arms between your legs and take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, see if you can lift your shoulders, shoulder blades off the mat, your head. Keep reaching through those legs. Imagine that your toes were trying to reach the space behind you or reach your shoulders. Take a full inhale. Exhale. One more. Keep reaching forward. Breath in. And then on your exhale, gently release the shoulders, the head. Help your legs come back towards one another. Bend your right knee and extend your left leg over the mat. Once again, draw the right knee towards the right armpit. You could stay here, or you could find a half happy baby, lifting the right foot towards the ceiling and then bringing your right hand around your right ankle or sole of the foot as you pull that knee down towards armpit, towards the space next to your right torso. Breathing in and breathing out. Keep your left leg active, pressing down. One more inhale and exhale. And then from here, release and switching sides. Bring your left knee in, extend your right leg out, hover it over the mat. And then relax it down. Draw the left knee towards your left armpit and finding your happy baby, half happy baby. And feel free to keep your heel towards your glute if this is giving you enough. But if not, lift the foot towards the ceiling, but keep drawing that knee towards your armpit, towards the space next to your torso. Active right leg, push down through that right glute, right side of the body, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then with your next inhale, both knees come into the chest. Before we work on a bit more with those legs and that core, we're going to plant those feet, coming into a bridge pose. So finding a bit of space between or in those hip flexors, arms by your side. When you're ready, lift those hips. Pausing here. Maybe use your arms, actually do use your arms to push into the mat. Through the palms, through the forearms, through upper arms and shoulders. Another breath in and breath out. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, gently lower those hips back to the mat. All right, let's bring that right knee in and let's extend that left leg out. So now transfer your hands to the back of your thigh. And from here, we're going to get some momentum. And this is where we're going to roll forward and back. So think about drawing your left leg up as if you were trying to bring it behind you. Lift your hips and then come up. See if you can find those sit bones and then roll back. Keeping that right knee lifted towards the chest, keeping that left leg extended. See if you can find that moment of balance on your sit bones and then come back. And then the next time that you find yourself on your sit bones, see if you can pause. See if you can keep that leg lifted for a moment. Breath in. And then on your exhale, lower that left leg down. Plant your right foot. It's going to be to the inside of your left leg. And then activate your left leg. So toes are drawing towards your shin. Find your sit bones and find that lifted spine. We're coming into a twist. Your left hand or left arm is going to wrap around your right shin. And then your right hand is going to come all the way behind you. It's your kickstand. Your torso is going to turn towards the right side. So towards that bent knee. Breathing in and breathing out. Your gaze could be the same direction as your chest, or you might send your gaze, your chin over that right shoulder. Take another inhale. And take another exhale. As you breathe in, come back through center, reach your arms tall, and then on your exhale, we're folding forward. So we're going to try and reach towards those left toes. Here is where your strap might come in handy. You could place it around the ball of that left foot. Give yourself enough space so that your right shoulder can come to the inside of that right knee, and then reach forward and down. Your hands might plant, you might bring them to frame that left leg. Think about your right shoulder coming forward of your right shin. Okay? Breathing in and breathing out. Keep the leg active, toes are drawing towards your shin, chest towards the toes. Another inhale and another exhale. As you breathe in, bring yourself back through center, and this time we're going to find a twist, but in the other direction. So your left hand is going to come behind you, find that kickstand, and then your right arm is going to be at the inside of that right leg, and then you're going to push into the inner part of that right knee to turn your torso towards the left. So you've got some resistance, the arm pushing into the knee and the knee pushing back into that arm. You could stay with your left hand down, or if you can find that lifted spine, reach your left fingers back. Maybe gazing back to breath in and breath out. One more inhale and exhale. As you breathe in, returning through center, again, reach your arms up, find space in your waist, and on your exhale, again, folding forward towards those left toes. Once again, if you've got your strap, bring it around the ball of the foot, and then use that strap to draw your chest forward and then down. Try not to just round forward, keep lengthening. Not round down, keep lengthening forward. Another breath. And then with your next inhale, come back up through center, reach your arms up. One last burst of energy here. Your arms are going to come parallel to that front leg, and then we're going to try and lift that leg, those toes towards that left palm. So with your next inhale, lift, lower, and again, lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. One more time, lift, and exhale and lower. Nice job. From here, bring the hands behind that right thigh, and once again, lift that foot, and we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. Once you get onto your backs, bend both knees, hug them into your chest, give yourself a little roll from side to side. Full breath in, and a full breath. We're going to try and do all of that on the other side now. So whenever you're ready, back is on the ground, that left knee stays in now, and the right leg is going to extend. So again, hands behind the thigh, I find is more helpful. And then from here, send that right leg overhead, lifting those hips some, and then come up onto those sit bones. And then return and up. See if you can find that balance for a moment. And one more time, and this time staying lifted. Maybe you stay for a second here. Notice that right hip flexor working quite a bit. And then when you're ready, plant that left foot, lower that right leg. And again, we've got that left knee bent. The left foot is to the inside of that right leg. Sit bones planted, sometimes just moving a bit of flesh out of the way is most helpful. And then we're going to reach those arms up, breathing in and finding a twist towards the left side. So left hand comes behind us and the right arm wraps around that left shin. As you find that twist, your torso, belly button is turning towards the left. Maybe your gaze turns behind you. And then just keep that right leg active. Your toes are still drawing towards your shin. You're pushing down into the ground. Another full breath in. And full breath out. With your next inhale, coming back through center, reach your arms up. Think about length in the side body. And then on your exhale, we're folding forward. Again, the strap or no strap, hands framing that leg, reach your chest forward and down. See if you can get your left shoulder to the inside of that left leg. And even if the shoulder is in front of it or your upper arm is in front of the shin, you can even use that to push against, and that will help you send that chest forward and down a little further. Full breath in and full breath out. With your next inhale, rising up, reach your arms tall, and then on your exhale, we're finding that twist, but in the other direction. Right hand behind you, your left hand is to the inside of that left leg, and then you're using this arm, left arm, to push into the leg. The leg is pushing back, and your torso is turning towards the right side. So there's quite a bit going on here between the knee and the arm. There's resistance, this push. Another full breath in. And another full breath out. With your next inhale, bring yourself back through center. Reach those arms tall. And then on your exhale, once again, folding forward to the inside of that left knee, reaching towards your toes, maybe with a strap, maybe not. But think about chest going towards toes. Full inhale and a full exhale. One more. With your next inhale, rising up and then bringing those arms more or less parallel to the ground, shoulders down and away from your ears, and then finding that lift now through that right leg. So four times, lifting up as you breathe in. Maybe those toes touch the hand. Lowering on the exhale. Lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. See if you can keep it lifted for a sec. And then exhale and lower. Nice. Bring those hands behind that left thigh and then slowly roll yourself back. And once you've got your back on the ground, release those knees. Find some circles with the knees. One direction and then in the other. And then once again, we'll go into a bridge pose, restoring a little space in the hip flexors. So bringing those feet and those knees hip width, your arms by your side. And as you inhale, lifting your hips. Pausing here, maybe scooting those shoulder blades underneath you, squeezing them towards one another, and you might interlace your fingers. And then push through the pinky side of your hands, pushing into the mat. Pushing through the forearms, the elbows, upper arms, and the outer part of your shoulders. Full breath in and full breath out. One more. And then gently release those hands, slowly lowering that spine all the way to the mat. And then last bit of rolling. This time we're going to try and roll all the way into a forward fold at the top of the mat. So collect some momentum. You're more than welcome to use your hands at any point. But see if you can plant those feet and then lift those sit bones and then end grabbing opposite elbows, standing forward fold at the top of the mat. Once you're there, little sway forward and back, maybe from side to side. Give your toes a little stretch. Full inhale. And a full exhale. One more here. And then release your elbows. Bring your hands to your shins. Halfway lift. Lengthen the spine forward. And exhale, fold. Two more times, just like that. Half lift. Inhale. Fold, exhale. And one more, halfway lift, inhale, sit bones back, and exhale, fold. With your next inhale, hands to your hips, a bend in the knees, and slowly rising up, one vertebra stacking over the other. Head is the last to lift, and we're up in mountain pose. And take a moment to let your body kind of adapt to standing after, being on our backs for a bit. So allow those shoulders to move away from your ears, allow your gaze to adapt. Give your fingers a little wiggle. And then find some stillness, engage through the legs, lengthen a bit more through the top of your head, and as you breathe in, reach your arms overhead. As you breathe out, lower the left hand down, side stretch. Come back through center, inhale. Over to the other side, exhale. Back through center, inhale, interlace those fingers overhead, turn the palms towards the ceiling, push the palms away, maybe even float your heels off the ground. Take another breath in. And your exhale, heels lower, hands come behind you, interlace them behind the back, stretch those elbows, lengthen, open chest, and on your exhale, fold forward. Arms might reach overhead, and then release those hands, halfway lift, breathing in. And on your exhale, plant your hands and step it back into downward facing dog. Send a bit more weight into those heels, so push the heels down into the mat. As you breathe in, lift your heels. And as you breathe out, bend your right knee and push your left heel down. Extending through the left knee, left hamstring stretch. Inhale, lift both heels and switch. Left knee bends, right heel drops. Right hamstring, calf, back of the ankle stretch. And then one more time each side. Inhale, center, right knee bends. And then inhale, center, and left knee bends. As you inhale, come back through center, lifting those heels. And then on your exhale, lower your knees to the mat and come into a table pose. Breathing into cow pose, drop the belly, chest forward, gaze up. And then rounding into cat, maybe coming onto your fingertips. Palms are lifted and that back body pushes up. And then do that again. Inhale into cow, breathing in. And rounding, exhale, maybe onto fingertips and cat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And then with your next inhale, coming back onto those palms, walk them slightly forward, tuck your toes and come back into downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, right leg rises, inhale. And as you exhale, knee to chest. See if you can plant that foot between your hands and come into a low lunge. You might be on your fingertips here. As you breathe in, drop the hips, lift the chest. And as you breathe out, extend through that front knee. And do that again. Come forward on the inhale. And move back as you exhale. One more, just like that. Forward, inhale, hip flexor stretch. And back, exhale. And now bend into that front knee. Find your low lunge. Keep your left hand down and right arm opens you up into a twist towards the right side. Pause, breath in and breath out. One more, inhale. And then on your exhale, we're going to pivot into a forward, wide leg forward fold. So your right hand is going to come towards the left hand. Your toes are going to pivot towards the left. And then you're going to walk your right hand all the way over towards the left foot. And your left arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. So coming into a twist in this wide leg stance. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, left hand plants, come into your regular forward fold, hands under shoulders, halfway lift as you breathe in, and fold forward as you breathe out. Find another one just like that, halfway inhale, and fold, exhale. With your next inhale, hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. And then turn your right toes towards the top of the mat and come into warrior two. Bend into that front knee, reach your fingers forward and back, squeeze through your left glute. As you breathe in, reverse warrior, front palm up and back. And then as you breathe out, come into side angle, forearm on your thigh, left arm by your ear. Pause here and begin to make a bit of like stars with your top hand. So squeeze, draw the fingers in towards one another and then spread them out. And then squeeze and spread them out. See if you can do a few more like that. And if you want extra challenge, rather than resting the forearm on your thigh, lift that right arm and make stars with the right hand too. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale, strong through the legs, and exhale. And then pausing with those stars, coming up into your warrior two, straighten through that front leg, and then triangle pose, hinge through that right hip, reach forward, and then lower that right hand. Left arm reaches in the opposite direction, chest is open and broad. Full breath in. And a full breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then rising up, return to warrior two, front knee bends, and on your exhale, hands to the mat, and step back into downward facing dog. Once you're in your down dog, take a deep breath in. And take an open mouth exhale. One more like that, breath in. And exhale. When you're ready, left leg will rise, breathing in. And on your exhale, bring that knee to the chest, and then see if you can step that foot between your hands, and maybe help it there. And then from here, in this low lunge, as you breathe in, drop the hips, bring them forward, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, straighten through that front leg. Two more times, breathing in, coming forward. And breathing out, straightening back. One more, breath in. And breath out. And now bend into that front knee. You're coming into your twisted lunge. So your right hand stays down, your left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Squeeze through those right glutes, push through the bottom hand, take a full breath in, a full breath out. And then from here, we're going to make our way into that wide leg forward fold, this time towards the right side. So your left hand is going to lower, pivot on your feet, turn your toes, and then your left hand is going to go all the way towards that right foot, and your right arm is going to open up towards the ceiling. So you're finding that twist. Once again in this wide leg stance. Think about pushing through the pinky toe side of your feet, breathing in, and breathing out. And then returning through center, so both hands now plant under the shoulders, halfway lift on the inhale, fold forward, exhale. Two more, inhale, half lift, exhale, fold, and one more, inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to fold. From here, hands to your hips, slowly lifting that spine. And we're going to find our warrior two towards the top of the mat once again. So bending into your left knee and your arms are reaching forward and back. Strengthen through that back leg with your next inhale, reverse warrior. Inhale. And then on your exhale, side angle. Forearm to thigh, right arm by your ear. And then once again, we're going to find those stars with that top hand. Find that fist and stretch. Strong through the legs. And then again, you choose stay here or left arm joins. And same thing here. Quite a bit of work for those legs, or that core, those obliques too. Breathing in and breathing out. And then pausing with those hands and coming up, warrior two, reach those arms forward and back, and then straighten through that front leg, hinge through the hip, and make your way into triangle pose. Broad chest, coming back to that breath. And trying to lengthen both sides of the body here, not only the top side. Full breath in. And a full breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. And then as if you were being pulled through those top fingers, rise up, bend into that front knee, return to warrior two, and then hands to the mat and downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and take a full breath out. In your down dog, as always, think about lifting those sit bones. Think about pushing the floor away with your hands. Relax through the neck and the face. Another breath. And use your next exhale to lower those knees to the mat and come all the way into a child's pose. Draw the knees wide, big toes to touch, and heels towards, or sit bones towards the heels. Arms reaching out in front of you. And imagine that you were clawing the mat. So imagine reaching a little further with those fingers and at the same time pressing the sit bones towards the heels. Full breath in and full breath out. And then find the right amount of striving and reaching, but then find a place where you can stay and see what's there. Couple more breaths. And then from here, with your next inhale, come all the way onto your belly. And let's start with a Sphinx pose. So we'll plant those forearms and think about your elbows under your shoulders and think about that chest drawing forward. So as if you were trying to draw your elbows towards your hips, and then begin to squeeze through your glutes and press down through the tops of the feet. As you draw your elbows towards your hips, push down through your forearms. See if the spine grows a little taller. See if you find a bit more space in your chest. Take another breath in, another breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And then from here, keep this lift through your chest. It's going to help. And then bring your forearm, your right forearm, kind of diagonal, so it's a bit more supportive. Bend your left knee, and then see if you can reach your left arm out and back, and try to grab a hold of your left foot or left ankle. And then help that knee come a little bit, that heel come a bit closer to your sit bone. If your hand is on the top of the foot, you might push down and your elbow might point up towards the ceiling. But then think about the front of your left hip pushing down to the mat. So don't let the hip lift. So don't worry too much about the heel going towards the glute, but about keeping the front of the hip towards the mat. Full breath in and full breath out. Another inhale and exhale. And now when you release that left foot, sometimes it kind of shoots out. See if you can control that. So keep a contraction through the glute and gently release your left foot all the way back. And then we'll just switch sides. So your left forearm now is more or less coming diagonal under your chest, so keeping your chest lifted. And then when you're ready, your right knee bends, your right arm reaches out and back, and then see if you can grab a hold of any part of that right leg, and then draw that heel towards the glute as you keep your knees level. So don't let your right knee splay out, but then again, press the front of the hip down towards the mat. Full breath in and full breath out. Again, pushing through that bottom forearm, so you're keeping that lift through your chest. Pressing the front of that right hip down. Another inhale and another exhale. And then again, just like we did on the other side, control the release. Control that right foot, right leg, and extend it all the way out. Bring the forearms in front of you, and then let your chest relax down towards the mat and your head rest on your forearms. Relax through the legs, heels plop out, and wiggle your hips from side to side. And then bring your awareness once again to your breath and the belly. So allow the belly to expand against the mat. And then draw the belly away from the mat. 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. 1 more breath in and breath out. Now we're going to get a little bit more, another stretch for the shoulder. That quad stretch is also quite a shoulder opener. So we'll do a little bit more. The right arm is going to come out into a T. We're going to turn the gaze to the left, and we're going to roll onto the right side. And then there's a few things here. The head is going to rest on the ground. Your left hand can be by your torso, by your chest for support. Okay. And then see if you can lift both legs up as you push down through your right arm and your right shoulder. You're using those outer hips and obliques, waist. Breath in, breath out. And notice that it helps if you activate through your right arm that's on the ground. 1 more breath. And if you had your legs lifted, gently lower them back down. We're coming back onto the belly. And then extend your left leg out. We'll do the same on this side. Roll onto the left side. Your right hand close to your chest is going to help. It's going to give you a bit of support. But you also want to be active through your left arm. So really press down through the front of the shoulder and the palm. And then see if you can lift those 2 legs up the ground without changing much else. There might be some tension come up into the face for sure. Notice that. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more inhale. And then gently release those legs down and come back onto your belly. Bring your hands under your shoulders and push yourself all the way into a child's pose. See if you can do this child's pose with the knees together, and then allow your arms to come down by your side. Palms face up. They might even rest on the soles of the feet. Forehead close to the knees. And pause. Recover the breath if you lost it. That intentional breath in and breath out. And then use your next inhale to slowly lift that spine. And then from here, make your way into a seat, bringing those feet to the side and allowing those sit bones to plant. Just a forward fold, bringing your feet wide and your knees wide, your hands to the insides of those feet, and just walking your hands out in front of you. Allow your spine to round, allow the head to drop. And take a couple breaths into that back body, noticing the stretch around the shoulder blade area, the back of the ribs, the lower back. Allow your knees to drop wide still. Full breath in and a full breath out. Walking those hands back towards you, lifting that spine, and we're going to return onto our back body, bringing those feet back to hip width, reaching your arms out in front of you, tucking the chin to your chest and slowly lowering section by section, lower back, mid back, upper back, and finally the head. And then once you are here, bring your feet again to hip width and close to your sit bones. And last bridge pose, lifting those hips, breathing in. Pausing here or lifting and lowering at your own pace. Finding just the right balance of effort and ease. So we're trying to once again make some space in the fronts of the hips. Make some space in the belly, in the chest. Another breath in. And then on your exhale, slowly lowering from upper spine all the way down, lengthening as we lower. And then once you arrive, just let your knees rest against one another. Feel any effects from the movements and the poses. Allow that back body to reset. And then give those knees a last hug towards the chest. Breathing in and breathing out. And then see if you can lengthen those legs all the way out onto the mat. And then lengthen your arms all the way overhead, but rest them on the mat. Going to find a side body stretch. So walk your feet towards the left. Keeping your arms and legs extended, and then walk your hands towards the left. As if you were trying to make a C shape with the whole body, and see if you can feel some stretch and space appear in the right side, from the right pinky toe all the way the side body up to those right fingers. And then bring yourself back through center. Keep lengthening, reaching fingers away from toes. And then walk your feet towards the right. And then walk your arms, your hands towards the right too. And see if you can find that whole body stretch on this left side. Breath in. And a breath out. And then walk those feet back through center. Walk your hands back through center. Give yourself another extra stretch here. And then lower those arms by your side. If you are comfortable with the legs extended and you're feeling comfortable to settle in here, do so. If the lower back is feeling a bit sensitive, you might bend your knees and plant your feet, letting the knees rest against one another. Wherever you are, find a full breath in. And as you breathe out through the mouth, let go of tension, let go of effort, and find your body closer to the ground. Maybe let now your breath be whatever it is. And for the next moments of practice, give yourself this pause, this rest. Stay present, but be with what is. No need to do something else. No, not even need to do. Try to pause the doing. With just a few moments. And if you'd like to stay for a bit longer, if you've got the time, feel free to do that. If not, bring attention to your breath once again and use that breath to awaken some movement through your toes and your fingers, your ankles, your wrists. The chin might move from shoulder to shoulder. You might give the body a whole stretch again. From the back body, you can roll onto the side and then find a full breath in and a full breath out. We'll find a comfortable seat, ending practice there. Maybe your hands rest on your lap or at your heart. Find that lifted spine and take a moment to acknowledge the practice. We'll acknowledge ourselves for practicing. We'll acknowledge those who practice with us. We'll acknowledge those who make it possible. And we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.